This is a book my mom had on her bookcase when I was young. It's A Tear and a Smile by Kahlil Gibran. And there is a poem in here. This one is, the collection is called A Tear and a Smile. And the very first poem in here is called A Tear and a Smile. And yesterday I was just feeling a lot of my feelings. You know, I'm going through this season of grief and just feeling very deeply the loss of my aunt and my dad's family. Like, that's it, you know, it's me and my sister now, and my sister's not speaking to me. So I feel like this whole part of me, this whole side of me, right, my dad's side of the family is not here physically, and that makes me sad. And so yesterday I was feeling the feelings. I was reminded of this poem, and I didn't have it really in me to post yesterday. I needed to take a day off and deal with my own stuff. But I read this book, and I just wanted to share this poem with everyone else to see if maybe this is you too. So, A Tear and a Smile. I would not exchange the sorrows of my heart for the joys of the multitude, and I would not have the tears that sadness makes to flow from my every part turn into laughter. I would that my life remain a tear and a smile. A tear to purify my heart and give me understanding of life's secrets and hidden things. A smile to draw me nigh to the sons of my kind and to be a symbol of my glorification of the gods. A tear to unite me with those of broken heart. A smile to be a sign of my joy in existence. I would rather that I died in yearning and longing than that I lived weary and despairing. I want the hunger for love and beauty to be in the depths of my spirit, for I've seen those who are satisfied the most wretched of people. I've heard the sigh of those in yearning and longing, and it is sweeter than the sweetest melody. With evenings coming, the flower folds her petals and sleeps, embracing her longing. At morning's approach, she opens her lips to meet the sun's kiss. The life of a flower is longing and fulfillment, a tear and a smile. The waters of the sea become vapor and rise and come together and are a cloud. And the clouds float above the hills and valleys until it meets the gentle breeze, then falls weeping to the fields and joins with the brooks and rivers to return to the sea, its home. And so does the spirit become separated from the greater spirit to move in the world of matter and pass as a cloud over the mountain of sorrow and the plains of joy to meet the breeze of death and return whence it came, to the ocean of love and beauty, to God. I've always felt that, like, deeply in my soul. Like, even though sometimes feelings can be so, like, overwhelming, and I don't know if this is for everybody, but man, sometimes feelings are so overwhelming, and I feel like they're going to, like, drown me, right? These feelings of sorrow, especially, that I've been having. But at the same time, I am so grateful. My heart is so full of love and gratitude for my family. I'm grateful that I am here as a human being experiencing these human feelings, like as the divine souls that we are. We couldn't understand the depth of feelings, and that's why we're here, right? We're here so the divine parts of us can become right? So we can move from being children of the Spirit, children of the Most High, so we can become God ourselves, right? But in order to do that, we have to grow. And sometimes the only way to grow is through the pain. And that sounds ridiculous sometimes. I think that's stupid, right? Growing through the pain. But that's what we do, right? When we're able to process our feelings and not fight it, right? So many of us are afraid to feel those feelings, so we stuff them down, especially if we've been through any sort of, traumatic childhood human experiences. That's part of our trauma response, is to, the flight or fight or fawn, right? We stay still, we freeze, right? Or we run away to protect ourselves. But learning how to stay present and allow the feelings to wash through you can be so healing. I know that I wouldn't be experiencing these feelings of loss and sadness if their presence in my life hadn't been so significant. And I am grateful. I'm so grateful for that. My dad chose me. Like, my grandparents adopted my dad and my aunt, so they know what it's like to open their heart to a child who wasn't, born of their flesh, but who was born of their heart. And my dad, my mom, was pregnant with me when she came to Jim, my dad, and kind of explained her situation, and they had dated, and he loved her dearly, and he agreed to marry her and become my father, even though I wasn't his flesh and blood. And even though they divorced and marriage wasn't the right fit for them, he loved me unconditionally. He never made me feel like anything other than his daughter. At 16, when my mom told me the story of my birth, she made me promise not to tell him that I knew he wasn't my father. And I have to admit, that messed with me for a lot of years and really had an impact on my relationship with my dad. But in the end, he's my dad, and I'm so grateful for his love and his influence, and for his ability to love a child that wasn't his biologically, but still accepted me into his heart and his family. And my grandparents and my aunt were all such good examples of unconditional love. I will forever be grateful for their example, and I'm going to do the best I can every day as the last member of the family to continue that legacy, to love people for who they are, where they are, because that is really what it's all about. So thanks, Dad. Thanks, Gail. Thanks, Grandma and Grandpa. I love you guys so much.